Hi, in this video, I'm going to discuss 5 different signs that plant medicine may be calling you. If you've done plant medicine or maybe you've been researching plant medicine, you may have heard of having the calling or the call to do ayahuasca or some other psychedelic. If you go to an ayahuasca ceremony, people may ask you how you were called to do the medicine, so let's get into talking about some signs plant medicine is calling you. If you're interested in learning more about plant medicine or holistic mental health, you've come to the right channel, and I'd love if you would subscribe. Now, I don't recall the first time I heard about ayahuasca, but I do remember that I got really fascinated with the concept of ayahuasca, especially the really powerful healing and spiritual properties and experiences it could bring on. I remember years ago, 10, 12 years ago, I would watch documentaries about ayahuasca and I loved hearing people's profound personal stories with ayahuasca, but it wasn't until I got to a very stagnant, dark place with my own mental health, specifically with depression, where I was really in need of a deeper healing modality. One sign that you may be getting that call to explore plant medicine is feeling stagnant, stuck in your life, whether it's from a spiritual or mental health aspect. I'm not saying you need to be spiritual per se, but maybe you've gotten to a place in your life where you're looking for more answers, understanding, and meaning. This may be with higher power and source energy, or you may just want a deeper understanding of yourself and your personal life. If you find yourself letting go of a lot of core beliefs about yourself or wanting to significantly change and grow as a person, then it seems like you would be in line with ayahuasca, especially if you feel like you've been shedding the beliefs of who you think you are or the beliefs people have for you. Ayahuasca and other plant medicines have the great ability to create powerful spiritual experiences. So if you feel like you've gotten to the point, spiritual path where you're wanting a more profound experience, or again, you may just feel like you want to connect to the universe or yourself in a much deeper level, then plant medicine can definitely help with that. Coming from the mental health perspective, I got to a place where I no longer felt like talk therapy and medications was enough. I was still struggling with depression and anxiety chronically, and quite frankly, I got very fed up with it and felt like I needed a completely different direction to treat my depression that the Western approach to mental health can't offer or couldn't offer. And I was feeling really stuck when it came to my mental health. I was struggling for most of my life with chronic anxiety and depression, and I got to a place where the Western traditional approach wasn't enough for me, and ayahuasca was a completely different option to explore. The second sign that ayahuasca may be calling you is through synchronicities. Maybe you watch a documentary on ayahuasca and then the next day someone brings it up to you, or somehow it keeps popping up on your radar, whether it's through social media or podcasts you listen to, or a friend or a family member brings it up. Somehow it seems like ayahuasca keeps coming into your focus. If ayahuasca seems to be brought up repeatedly in different situations, it may not be a coincidence. Again, for me, ayahuasca was in the back of my mind for years. Usually people contemplate doing ayahuasca for a significant amount of time before deciding to go on the psychedelic journey. So if it seems like ayahuasca keeps popping up for you over and over and over again, I wouldn't chalk it up as a coincidence. If you're a spiritual person, listen to the signs of the universe. If higher power wants you to do ayahuasca, you will know. Another thing is obsession. I think a great way of knowing if ayahuasca is right for you is if you become a bit obsessive researching ayahuasca and learning about its complexities. If ayahuasca or plant medicine is a topic where you've become mildly obsessed about regarding studying, exploring, researching any and all information about ayahuasca or DMT, then again, I believe this is a sign that plant medicine may be calling you. The more you want to learn about it, talk about it, hear about it, it's a clear sign that plant medicine may be for you. It needs to come from your own personal motivation and desire, though. It needs to be 100% your own decision. It needs to be a calling from within you, not from the influence of other people, and definitely not because it's becoming more widespread and popular. For example, I feel very called to do mushrooms and ayahuasca, especially mushrooms. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like the decision to go on a mushroom journey comes naturally to me. I feel very safe and at ease with mushrooms, and I would say every time or almost every time I take psilocybin, I come to some aha moment or realization that is really helpful to me in my mental health. And mood-wise, I feel happy and at ease, and it stops the constant overthinking or depressive thoughts that I could fall into. Ayahuasca I am called to do because I want to deeply work through trauma and unprocessed emotions through the use of a psychedelic. And I believe ayahuasca is the medicine to use when you're willing and wanting to work through deep subconscious behaviors and patterns. However, I personally don't feel called to do bufo. I have smoked bufo, but that one is definitely a lot more of a struggle for me, and I have much more emotional hesitation with bufo than with other plant medicines. The next sign I would say that would possibly indicate you are ready for plant medicine is if you are deepening your spiritual practice, assuming you have one. You may have a meditation practice that's getting deeper, or you're getting into breath work, really anything that makes you feel closer to source energy, even though having experience with meditation and breath work isn't necessary for ayahuasca, it would definitely be helpful to know. Now, the final sign that plant medicine is calling you is when you find yourself no longer wanting to eat processed foods, drink alcohol, or engage in other substances like smoking marijuana. If you find yourself suddenly very motivated to cut out other substances from your life and eat a plant-based diet, it shows that your mind and body are preparing for plant medicine. If you typically drink alcohol regularly or smoke marijuana and you lose your appetite for those substances because you no longer crave or desire them, again, it's kind of showing that you're physically and mentally moving up to a higher vibration and cleansing your body to ingest ayahuasca or another plant medicine. If you don't already know, ayahuasca requires a diet before partaking in an ayahuasca ceremony. It is required to go on an ayahuasca dieta where processed foods and alcohol are cut out of your diet, amongst other things, to energetically prepare yourself for the intense psychedelic. Now, some signs I would say you shouldn't do ayahuasca. Don't do ayahuasca if you're doing it because of external influences. Don't do ayahuasca just because your friends are doing it or just because it's becoming more popular in the media. This is a very serious personal decision. Ayahuasca isn't a party drug or some fun thing you try for the heck of it. It's a very intense psychedelic that requires commitment and work to harness the potential benefits. It's definitely not all rainbows and sunshine experience. It could really dig up deep, heavy psychological shit. And if that's not something you aren't ready for, don't open up Pandora's box. If ayahuasca is something that one is interested in just because you tried a lot of fun party drugs or watched a clever, fast-paced documentary, it probably isn't the right experience to pursue. Ayahuasca is work, it's uncomfortable much of the time, and it's very much a personal commitment. It's not something I would recommend for everyone. It's not for everyone. But if you're feeling the calling and you have a very clear understanding of why you're choosing to participate in plant medicine in the first place, then it can be extremely beneficial. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you're interested in hearing more about plant medicine, I'd love for you to like this video and subscribe.